Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Ali Kamanava Yoga. I'm Ali, and today we are diving into our changing world, where we're going with our world, and what are we creating, what should we expect from our world. Just my perspective, of course. We live in times of a massive shift, and the last year was in many ways a blessing because it allowed us to see clearly reality in a new way. I personally already was aware of everything that transpired before 2020, leading up to 2020, that this was in play and approaching, but as it approached, you see, when there is a push of darkness, it's usually in response because of light, and when there is that push, it also unintentionally starts a cycle of awakening, of chain awakening of souls. And because cosmically we're at a time when consciousness is meant to shift, and everything that is playing out is just how it's going to play out. For us to rebuild a new world, a new reality, it will be turbulent. We could have chosen a little easier path in 2020, but what happened is a lot of the masses turned back towards the past and wanted to go back to normal, but not the same normal, a little worse, but still. So they were willing to take the past, but worse. So even right now, people are in the stage of bargaining, that is the stage of loss and grief. The stages of grief, but bargaining, like, can we just have parts of the old? Can we just surrender important things of ourselves just to have a little bit? We'll give up a lot, but if we can have a little from the past. But that's not in the books. It may look on the physical plane, it will look like it is going to continue in that direction. We're going to see more of this happening, more people really giving up a lot of important aspects of themselves, of their relation to reality, of their consciousness, just to have a little bit of that past, to go to a concert, or to just have certain things that we used to have. The way I see it is, we just can't go against the flow of events. We have to accept where we're at. We're at a place of shift. It's a consciousness shift that will eventually, in time, manifest into a shift of reality. And for me, the world changed. The world changed completely. Last year, I have made a matcha latte. The way I view the world after post 2020 completely shifted. I just stripped down. I was already not well conditioned in the old reality. I already had this feeling that it has gone in a weird direction. It's not wrong because it's part of what it is, but it has gone in such a strange direction, humanity, that it was part of a devolutionary cycle. And of course, a lot comes out of a devolutionary cycle. So now we're gearing up to go on an evolutionary cycle, on an awakening cycle. And how do you know you're awakening? You know it. No one can tell you that. No one can confirm it outside of you. You know the impulses within your own self. Awakening, to be on an awakening journey, is not a big deal. They make it, you're not the most special person in the world, or people would be like, oh, aren't you so special? No. To be on an awakening cycle, it just means that you're peeling off certain layers of the old reality. You're seeing a little more. You're expanding your consciousness. Your consciousness is able to grasp more of the layers of reality, what is out there beyond the limited thing we see. And you know it clear cognizantly. You just know it without a tangible proof, without words, without a reason why you know it. You just know it. And a lot of you that have an impulse in you, you know it. It is not a big deal. It is not the most special person in the world only can be awakened. This is not something reserved for just a few. Anyone has access to it, especially right now. Anybody that tries to put you down, you just turn inward, turn into your own world. So this leads to my next point. I do believe in crossing from this point to the next point. I do believe that we're gonna see this kind of a dystopian reality out of the movies on the surface for a while. We'll see it playing out in certain ways, not completely. In different ways, it will just act itself out. And you are beginning to see also that you are beginning to manifest a little faster. And as long as you anchor inward into what you want to manifest, it will eventually move into the reality. So at this point, I for myself have shifted naturally in disengaging. There was a time, maybe a little hope for the masses, and now it's not that I don't have hope, but I just retract. I move within, because that's my domain. That's my world. I move within. I'm not interested in what the masses will do. I'm good with it either way. I accept it either way, because free will is free will. Everybody is free to choose. There is gonna be a seed of humanity that will seed the future genomes of humanity, and there is such awakening souls coming in on earth right now that those are going to be the seed for the new consciousness, the new humanity. We are going to see a whole paradigm dismantling. Is not an easy or a fast process, meaning we'll see it in stages, and also from our earthly perspective it will look confusing. We wouldn't quite know what is the bigger picture, how is it playing out in the finer layers. Right now we can't quite clearly foresee, humanity in 2037 or in 2050 or and so forth. So because we're at the fork and there's different choices that can be made, but you within yourself, you're making your own choice. In the reality we're moving in, it's not going to be like a bargaining stage of reality. Will take a little bit. We'll just go back and we'll can we just have the old, but not quite, not as good, but still, it's not gonna be that, because either unforeseen events will happen, or people will have enough, because this is gonna drag on. This is just gonna continue. This is not the end of it. It will continue. We live in times when it's really pushing us to awaken. It's really pushing us to expand our consciousness, to go within, to develop new senses, new qualities, new psychic qualities, telepathy, clairvoyance, cognizance, clairaudience, and we have to be strong in who we are. That was my first realization as a literally teenager. Realize how important it is within yourself to be anchored in the highest truth. That's what I mean by strong, not in petty stuff and in personality matrix stuff, to be like really like that person that you believe you are, but more in the highest truth. You're always occupying the highest truth, whatever the personality is doing. You don't have to have the perfect personality to be anchored in the highest truth. Everybody will have their personality flaws. That's not a big deal. That's what yoga teaches. Just accept and love yourself, and move from the heart, drop in the heart and do things for others. And that's when you really elevate yourself on a frequency level. You step into a new frequency. So now we are asked to move in, to accept the world, but to stand in our own truth. And as we stand in our own truth, and as we foresee what we're doing, and we occupy the frequency we're at, we also slowly because we're still in the sticky 3D muddy place, but we slowly begin to manifest it. So either we see it within this lifetime or within the trajectory that we're projecting for future lifetimes, because we're on an eternal journey. This is not, the end of it. And we have to think forward, like, where do we want to travel as a soul? We're here briefly in this personality costume. So we're asked, there's going to be so much fighting and a struggle and antagonism, and people just not seeing things the same way, just not having a middle ground, like really stuck in their realities. And we're asked to pull away to some degree, at the same time standing in it. And some of us are going to be in the middle of it because they have the persona to deal with it without getting pulled into it. But you can do some form of work in the external world, meeting with people, forming communities, connecting on soul level, etc., initiatives and such. But at the same time, to not get emotionally pulled into the hate and into the differences with the other side, because you the energy infuses you. You can't fully separate from it. It steps into your domain. So for you to hold that higher frequency, you want to really be steady in it, steady in who you are, very internalized. From that place, you can manage the external world, and the things that you don't need to get pulled into, step away from them. Yes, there's going to be loss in relationships, and there's going to be sadness. But I can tell you that once we surrender, the sadness goes away, because we realize that a lot of those relationships were part of the old world, part of the old earth, part of the old paradigm. And there was something not aligned with the higher consciousness within them. So it was a needed thing. And sometimes bad habits are hard to quit because there is an addictive element to them. There is familiarity there. And for example, I'll give you an example. I was, when I was grieving certain aspects of the old earth, because we're never going to go back to how exactly it was. I'll give you the silver lining after. But then I was thinking to myself, oh, how I miss just traveling through the villages in Bulgaria, and they have this little farmers market, and everybody was free in the past to just communicate with each other and be in each other's presence without fear. And like that whole thing is gone. It's over with. Like, people are traumatized. Even if things went back to normal, people are traumatized psychologically. It's not gonna be the same. It's a different world, and we can't go back to parts of it because it was already set on a really rotten foundation. So to go back to that rotten foundation, we're gonna get even worse results with the next event. And then I realized, no, the beauty of humanity, it will regenerate and resprout and grow even better with a new foundation. Don't worry about that. That's not gone. That is just allowing, everything is now being allowed to dismantle itself because it was set on the wrong foundation. All these old communities, they were all set in this last 100 and 200 years of worldview and philosophy that was embedded with that dark energy. So even though people in themselves are beautiful and just enlightened, beautiful souls and beings of light, the whole structure here was holding the soul in a very, very material domain. So this is being dissolved now. And it's going to be a process. We're not going to necessarily see it and have confirmation in the external continuously, but get that confirmation within. Get that confirmation within yourself and feel how things feel. See how things are working out, even astrologically. It's really good to look at it. Because building a completely new reality, obviously, is not going to be smooth. It can be, but not with the level of consciousness we were at. We just were not quite there, and for us to get there, we needed something. People are just not voluntarily choosing to do it because there was too much of the grid program holding the consciousness within a certain parameter, and there was no stepping out of that consciousness. Very few were, when you talk to people, how rare it was for people to have like really. I see Sophie sniffing around in the yard and I got distracted. So that is what it is, to just have optimism, to just have inner resilience, to have surrender and to have inner guidance, because we are doing something phenomenal, and in the end it will be worth it. The process of it will require you to really have endurance, to have inner guidance, to not feed yourself when you take in information, to check it for frequency, to step away from false hope, to step away from savior mentality or fixes from outside of you, because that was just spiral out of control. But to really, really build yourself from within on every level. We're talking mentally, every word you use within your self, internal dialogue, spiritually, emotionally, making sure you're flowing emotion, you're not getting them stuck, you're not having blockages. It's a lot of work, obviously, for different people, different type of work. Physically, really keeping yourself in a high frequency, because right now, as we shift the frequency in our body, we're able to take in new information through the sun, through the new light coming in, through the new frequency that the earth is bathing in. And new frequency indeed is coming in, and a lot of really, really enlightened souls are here on earth or assisting us as a consciousness, and we are literally taking in this new consciousness in order to embody it, to become it, and in the physical, while we are in the physical. So it's a magnificent process. I've really expected it for a long time. I couldn't have imagined the details of it or how it would feel, but I was at least mentally and spiritually and to some degree emotionally prepared for this time. We are connect with people that you can begin to envision and work with towards the new. Do not allow yourself to fall in the lower frequency domains, regardless of where it's coming from, what it is saying, because everybody is speculating now, and no matter what people are saying, the truth is only within, and what will happen and what your world will look like in the future, only you can tell. Internalize, connect at the same time. That doesn't mean you're an island and you just sit with yourself and you can't come in contact with another world, another being. Connect and really stay in that understanding, high frequency and understanding of where we're going. Do not bargain, because we're not gonna get a good bargain right now. Just know your absolute truth and be that, embody that, fully embodying who you are is more and more possible now. And you don't want to overly engage with the negative, fighting it and all that, because it will suck a lot out of you. You can to some degree, as long as you can maintain your frequency high. And do a lot of emotional work right now. Do a lot of emotional work. It goes with the physical work as you take care of your health. Take really good care of your health with clean water, with EMF protection, with really high frequency food. EMF protection, I've been telling you every time pretty much, or often, once a month or so on Instagram. I tell you about Aries Tech. I wear it especially when I go out around the towers for EMF protection, because it really messes with your field, with the water in your body, and the water in your body holds the consciousness, holds the frequency. And I didn't know what to do with my Elite Shungite. The Aries Tech has certain sales that I sometimes mention on Instagram, and on top of the sales you can put Ali Kamenova 10 for an additional percentage, so you can get it for a good price. This is the personal one, and it has a big protection sphere. This is an Elite Shungite. You can do it as jewelry and such. It's actually pretty well, but I just put it in my Shaman's Market bag in my pocket. But anyways, take good care of yourself. That's all I want to say for today, and I'll see you. And Lottie is coming, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.